Today we're going to look at creating error bars to show how data is spread in a particular data set, and then we're going to put that in the form of error bars onto a graph. And so the first step would be first to find the standard deviation of a set of numbers, and then to change the graph so we can display error bars. So the first step is finding standard deviation. And the way to find standard deviation is very similar to any other formula in Sheets. You are going to go up and hit equals and start typing in ST, and you see STDEV up there. Click that, and we're going to drag over the numbers that we would like to find the standard deviation, and these are the numbers. Hit return, and the standard deviation of these numbers is 1.13, and so on. And this number doesn't mean a whole lot until we take this number, or until we look at the standard deviation of our other numbers. Now, just as we've done before, we're going to take our cursor, put it over top of the dot on the bottom right corner, drag it down, and it's going to apply the same formula to all 4 rows. And now these numbers maybe make a little bit more sense if we look at them a little more closely. If you look in every day, you can see that the numbers are very spread apart: 4.1, 5.8, 0, 2.5. And so that's why the standard deviation is higher than something like in once a week, where the numbers are very close together. They're not very spread apart. And so the standard deviation is much shorter. So standard deviation is a measure of how spread out the numbers are. And it's a way to show variance in your graph. So now we can take these numbers, standard deviation numbers, and we can put them onto the graph. And I'm taking this graph that I've already created using the average growth of the plant versus the frequency of watering. It's basically took these numbers and graphed them after finding the average of the trials. And I'm going to now put error bars onto these. And so the way to do that is if you go down to Advanced Edit, up on the top right corner. And if you go to chart types, if all your bars are the same colors, you need to go to switch rows and columns right here in chart types. That will allow you to apply the data to each different bar. Then you go to customization. In customization, if I scroll down to the very bottom, you can see here error bars. And right now there are no error bars, but we're going to apply them to every individual one. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to bring your window down so you can see all of the different standard deviation values, as we're going to have to manually enter these in. So the first bar we're going to do is not at all. And we're going to just round the numbers, so we're not going to type in the full standard deviation number. And the first one would be 1.14, taking from this number right here, not at all value. And make sure that you're selected on constant. You're on constant, not on percent. If you hit enter, the error bar goes in, showing the standard deviation for this particular set of data. Next, we're going to apply every day. So if we go up to the series and select every day, same thing as before, we're going to select constant, and we're going to round our standard deviation from above right up here. So in this case, it would be 2.5. So 2.5, enter, and now you can see this error bar is much bigger than the last one because there's quite a bit more variance in the set of data. Next, we're going to go to our other values, and we're going to enter in the standard deviation just like we have in the last. And once a week, oops. And in this case, we have standard deviation of 1. And you can see that this error bar is much shorter. So if you click Update, you can now see your graph is complete with an error bar showing the standard deviation of each of the values. Little note, remember you can click on the graph, and whenever I did this the first time, I noticed that this average growth of plant was here, and I thought it was a little bit confusing as it doesn't really show the x-axis very well. And so the way I deleted it was just by changing the text to white, and you can do that. You can play around with all the different elements of the graph after you're all done. So this is creating error bars to show how data is spread in a particular set of values and making error bars on the graph.